Send me money. Receive money. Send me money. No more hassle. M l'argent. Send me money. Send me money. Receive money. Receive money. M l'argent. It's safe and secure. M l'argent. You want to send your money to friends and family. No more standing in line. M l'argent. It's a new digital financial service brought to you by the Dominica Credit Union Movement. Introduces a new wallet solution, M l'argent. Top up friends, pay bills, make shopping easy, extra secure. Sign up is absolutely free. M l'argent. You want to send your money to friends and family. No more standing in line. M l'argent. Download the M l'argent app today. See your credit union for more details. M l'argent, your mobile payment solution. M l'argent.
Good evening, and welcome to this another edition. This is the extended version of the Cooperative Voice program. I am your host, Phoenix Belfield, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company. And tonight, we have some special guests joining us. And tonight's program, it's about your credit union and you. And this is the forum in which we get to hear from the leaders of the credit union movement about what's happening in the movement, and you get an opportunity to listen and to participate actively. If you want to comment, we're streaming on about 13 streams, including Q95, Kyrie FM. We're also live on Emo News. We're also live on all of the social media pages of the credit unions, on the M L'argent page, as well as the Cooperative Voice on YouTube. On any one of those streams that you're joining us on, including any one of the Facebook streams of the credit unions, you can send your message and we will get it live in studio. So this is the time for you to sit back, relax, hear from our leaders, and also participate in this discussion. We were extremely happy that you're able to join us, and what we wanted to do with this Your Credit Union and You program, we wanted for you to come and interact with the leaders. And so we have some special guests. We have the president of the league, Mrs. Lorna Vidal Telemac. She'll be joining us. We also have the president of Marigold Cooperative Credit Union, Honorable Greg Riviere. And also we have the president of NCCU, Mrs. Josephine Dublin, and the president of Triple CUL Central, Mr. Julian Brewster. They're all with me tonight, and tonight we're going to have an exciting session. I want you to be able to participate. And so tonight what we're going to do, we're just going to have some brief words from our leaders. And once we're through with that, then we'll get into some question and answer segments. And this is where you will get an opportunity to participate. So if you want to ask a question, you can just log on to any one of the social media pages and ask your question, and we will endeavor to have it streamed live. All right. So thank you very much, and to my guests, Mr. Brewster, Mrs. Dublin, Honorable Gregory Riviere, Mrs. Lorna Vidal Telemac. Welcome everyone. Welcome to this broadcast. How are you feeling tonight?
We are doing wonderful. Well, I'm doing wonderful. I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah. Well, I'm perfectly fine. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. I see everybody with cheers. And we're hoping to keep those smiles at the end of the session when the questions are piling in. So thank you very much for availing. So as we were talking on the program that this is a program of interaction. And before we get into some opening remarks from our leaders, we wanted to remind you that this program is brought to you with the kind compliments of the Dominica Cooperative Societies League Limited, in collaboration with the Credit Unions of Dominica and M L'argent Mobile Wallet Solution. So after this break, we'll go into the opening remarks from the leaders, and then we'll be able to take it from there. Thank you very much and stay tuned, and do share the link because we need you to participate.
Want to send and receive money easily and without any headache of payment delay? M L'argent mobile wallet is an easy, convenient, and secure way for sending and receiving money, paying bills, making donations, credit union transfers, merchant shopping, and many more. Make Imlajan your cash wedding registry or raise a fund with Imlajan Cares. For more information, please visit www.imlajan.com.
All right, thank you very much. We're here on the broadcast again, and I'm your host, Phoenix Belfield, and we're really happy that you've joined us in this session. And we're pretty grateful for the opportunity to be here live on Kyrie FM. So thank you to the folks at Kyrie FM and the radio listeners of Kyrie FM, and also to our media partner, Emo News, who is also carrying it live. So thank you very much for joining the broadcast. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to create an interactive session because a lot of persons, they do not get the opportunity at the AGMs to ask questions of their leaders. So we wanted to create this forum in which you can ask your leaders about matters of importance to you as a member of the credit union. So we'll pause for the cards. We'll have some short introductory remarks by my guests, and then we will go into the question and answer segment. So Mrs. Lorena Vidal, as the president of the league, Mrs. Vidal is the president of the league. She's also the secretary of the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Union, which is our regional body. Mrs. Vidal has served as the president of Central Cooperative. She served as the president of the league. She's also the secretary of the board of MLAJA, and she wears many hats, and but is one person. So, Mrs. Vidal, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, I'm Mr. Belfield, and thank you. A pleasant good evening to the listeners on social media platforms as well as the radio. The Dominica Cooperative Societies League, which is really known as the Credit Union League, is the apex body of cooperative societies in Dominica. It was established in 1957, and the league has spearheaded the strategic ambitions and advocacy priorities of the credit union movement. Additionally, we also provide services relating to education and training, advisory. We provide advice to the credit unions. We do public relations or promotions for the credit unions. We supervise the credit unions to foster improved standards, and we also provide insurance services and to the credit unions. The credit unions are our member affiliates. So the Dominica Cooperative Societies League is the umbrella body over all the credit unions in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Now, in order to better understand the movement, it is important to remember how we were formed. So in 1951, the first credit union was formed by Sister Alicia of Belgium. In 1957, the league was formed with 12 existing credit unions on island at the time. In 1999, however, at the 43rd AGM of the league, a resolution was unanimously passed to amend the bylaws of the league to represent all the cooperative societies on the island. Now, in 2012, the league founded and launched an insurance company. Well, we founded and launched a corporate enterprise finance facility which provides insurance services. So it's called CICL. And so it is jointly owned by the credit unions in Dominica as well as a couple credit unions within the region. In 2020, the league launched the Credit Union Compliance Association, where all compliance officers of the credit unions come together and there is now a compliance association of the credit unions. Now in 2020, the league also launched a company called National Credit Solutions, which provide debt collection and services and assist with the management of delinquency. In 2021, the league also incorporated a company called MLAJA Financial Technology Services. So this is a digital technology platform which is used for the purposes of sending money, paying bills, and so on. So, but today, our movement comprises of 6 credit unions with more than 25 locations, and we service over 86,000 members. In 2020, our assets stood at $934 million. And together, the movement accounts for about 51% of the lending in the financial sector in Dominica. Now, the board of the Cooperative Societies League has the general responsibility for the oversight of the league's operation, and it gives undertakings to management in accordance with that vision or strategic direction. So these include, but they are not limited to, policy reviews, implementation, affiliate support, fiscal performance. The board also ensures the adherence to controls, sound corporate governance, and monitors the implementation of the league's strategic plan. Now, within the league, the board is supported by the supervisory and compliance committee, just as what exists in the credit unions, as well as the credit committee. Now, our focus for the last 2 years has been on enhancing compliance and governance and enhancing member services through the provision of additional digital channels such as the Mlaja mobile wallet. Now, in our goal to enhance compliance and risk culture within the movement, we wanted to adopt a harmonized bylaws of the credit union. So instead of each credit union having their own separate bylaws, we came together to do a harmonized bylaw where there is one bylaw that governs all of the credit unions. This year, at our annual general meeting, we recommended we got recommendations from our membership, and the league has been organizing capacity building and training. Now, the introduction of the Mlaja wallet, which you will hear a lot about today, has placed Dominica on the map of countries with digital financial inclusive solutions. And this is a real testament of what the movement can do collectively. Now, Mlaja collectively, as I indicated, it is owned by the Dominica Cooperative Societies League, the National Cooperative Credit Union, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, and the Marigot Cooperative Credit Union. So we see this collaboration between all the credit unions as an effort to enhance the collective might of the movement, whilst future-proofing our credit unions. So as you would know, the commercial banks are also outfitted with digital channels. So it was important that our movement lead the way to this end. So we applaud the efforts of all our credit union partners. Later today, you will hear about the Mlaja, and you will see how easy it is. It is so much easier to use than any other platform that any other platform that we have right now in Dominica. So you would not have to be adding anybody and doing all these things to use Mlaja. You simply use a QR code. Somebody has a QR code, you have one, you scan that code and you're good to go. So it is much easier and it helps with the movement. So our hope for this year is that we can move the entire movement to have an increased presence online, to increase operational efficiencies within the movement, so that we can better serve our members. So I hope tonight we have a interactive discussion about your credit union and to see what else we can do to assist our members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lorna Vidal. And really some insightful information there about the credit unions leading the way, increasing operational efficiency. Some of the things that you've mentioned in your presentation is not something that we're known for in the movement traditionally.
Right.
But now the movement they have taken it a whole step level, a higher level, I should say, in terms of increasing that efficiency. And I think that is so important. But you mentioned something that we're going to pick up a little later in the discussion, which is about leading the way. How can credit unions lead the way? And there's a popular guy that speaks about leading from behind. People expect, they say, okay, credit unions are behind, they're not known for digital innovation. So how can we lead from behind and go to the front? So we'll have some discussions on that. So thank you very much. We also have with us the the president of the Central Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Julian Brewster. Mr. Brewster served the movement extensively. In fact, he worked in the league for over 30 years. So he has much more institutional knowledge than my life. And so he currently serves as the president of Central Cooperative Credit Union. So I'm really happy to introduce to you our friend and colleague in the battle of credit unionism, Julian Brewster. Mr. Brewster, just give us some remarks, please.
Thank you, Mr. Belfield, and let me just take the opportunity first and foremost to extend commendation to the visionaries who came out with this program where we can inform our members and general public about the credit union movement and the importance of that movement to the economy and the development of our people over the years. The Central Credit Union came about as a result of a strategic coming together, amalgamation of the then Portsmouth Cooperative Credit Union and the St. Alphonsus Cooperative Credit Union. And we are proud this year, we are celebrating 15 years of the Central Credit Union. At Central, we are in the business of providing convenient services to our members. We have a savings program, and we have a loan program, and we have a number of other products and services that we provide for the convenience of our members. But I want to begin to speak about our central online service that was launched in September of 2021. The Central Online Program allows you, the members, to transfer funds between accounts, transfer funds to other members' accounts, perform balance inquiry on each account, request account statements, order management checks for your accounts, request bank statements on any of your accounts for a given period. You can apply and submit your loan application online, and you can pay your bills online. That service is one that came about especially during this COVID pandemic period, where we make it convenient. And we have a little cliche, Central Online, the safest way to do business during this pandemic. So you do not have to leave your abode, you do not have to come and expose yourself, you can stay home and do all of your credit union business with us on our Central Online services. And we encourage our members to take the opportunity to use that service effectively. It is more convenient, and for your own personal safety too, it is better to operate from that way. Last year, we also launched a program, a shares program. We are mandated by the Cooperative Societies Act that we must have 10% of our share capital in liquid form. So in other words, if we are valued at $1,000, the law states that we must have 10% of that amount in liquid cash somewhere in the event. So we embarked on a program. We went to our members, we presented a case, and at a special annual general meeting that was called for that purpose, our members agreed and gave us that okay. And as a result, we have started this Invest My CCCUL program. And let me just inform you that to date, it is doing very well. And we are on our way to address this important issue of our inability to meet that 10% requirement. And we need to commend our membership. We need to commend the board of directors and senior management and staff of our credit union for a job well done thus far. We also are conscious of our social responsibility. and we do so by our involvement in the communities. We engage in education, we engage in sponsorship in sports. Our social responsibility means a lot to us, and we take pride in shouldering that responsibility. So it is manifested in our involvement in health, education, culture, and sports. And we continue to provide necessary support to our community through donations and partnerships with other institutions who share our core values. So this, in a nutshell, is Central Credit Union, what it represents, and as we continue in this discourse, you will be having more information.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brewster. And you mentioned a couple of things. First, congratulations on Central's 15 years. I'm sure we're going to have some celebration happening in a more COVID-friendly environment a little later down. So I'm putting your business out there early o'clock, and we're putting Central on notice.
Well, we cannot celebrate in secret. So in fact, we have a special product coming up to
Wonderful.
celebrate to celebrate our 15 year. We have a product called 15 for 15.
Oh
So
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get up to $1,500 at a 4% interest rate, and
Over 15 months.
over 15 months. And we know the Easter is coming up, and we just want to encourage you to celebrate with us. So that's one of the ways in which we are going to celebrate our 15th year. So we have a 15 for 15 product that you will hear more of in social media platforms soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that information. Thank you very much for that information, Mr. Brewster. You know, we're getting a lot of regards on social media, so as they pop up. Thank you, Kenneth Francis, for joining the broadcast. Thank you, Valentine. Thank you, Christy Lamotte, for your kind words and compliments. So we're getting the business on. And Mr. Brewster, you mentioned a couple of things, and we're going to pick it up a little later in the discussion about the Invest My CCCUL, because quite a few persons they've been asking, but okay, yes, we agreed to this thing. What's happening? Where are we going? How long it's going to be, and what have you? And so, it would be good if we can get a little bit more insight, if you have,
All
on the
right.
My Invest and how important it is. This is one of the things, one of the critical things that we need to address. How important it is for the members to continually invest in their credit unions, because a lot of times we focus on only how the credit union can serve you, but do we ask ourselves how we can serve the credit union? And really, as the owners of a business or the owners of an institution, the shareholders, it is you that have to come to the rescue of that credit union to inject more capital, to invest, and to use the service and utilize the service. All right, so
Yes,
we're going to
sir.
get a little bit more on that discourse a little later. I also have joined with me, like I said, a distinguished panel, and I feel like I don't have to talk this evening. My job is really to coordinate the intelligence minds on this panel. So we have with us Honorable Gregory Revere. He's the president of the Margaret Cooperative Credit Union. And Gregory Revere has been honorable, I should say. Sorry, we're brothers on the movement. So forgive me if I drop the handle now and again. Yeah, all right?
All right.
Right. But he knows Honorable Gregory Revere. He has served on he has served on the Margaret board, and now he's the president of the Margaret board. And he has been a credit unionist at heart. Notwithstanding his busyness in his job, he has always been there for the credit union, giving critical support to the movement and helping us to guide the Marigot and by extension the whole northeastern corridor of Dominica to ensure that they get critical financial services available. So thank you very much, Mr. Riviere, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Belfield, and thank you to the other guests on the program. I want to say a special good evening to the number of people who are listening via social media, Kyrie FM. I noticed that my former president, Valentine Telema, is online. So I want to say good evening to you. And of course, good evening to the wonderful members of the Margaret Cooperative Credit Union. First of all, Mr. Belfield, I must say that I'm very pleased to be part of this forum. I think that is something that we need to do more often so that the people of Dominica can know the good work that the credit unions are involved in all over the country, and the tremendous benefit to individuals as a result of being a member of respective credit unions. So I really want to thank you for this opportunity, and basically to share a few facts about Margaret Corporate Credit Union. As you indicated, I've been with the credit union for some time now, served on credit committee, served at the league level, served as president on a few occasions. And at the last AGM, we decided that, well, the members decided that they wanted me to continue or to serve as president. By way of background, the Margaret Cooperative Credit Union, I want to really thank many of our founding members, and of course, people like Mr. Misha Clinton, who was our first president. Just recently, we had our 47th AGM, which means that we've been existing for quite a while. To date, we have about 7,219 members. We have an asset base of $53 million. Before time, we used to talk about pennies. In Margaret, now we're talking about millions. We have, of course, our head office at Wares, and we have our branches, Woodford Hill. Just recently, somewhere about 2014, we acquired the Woodford Hill and Calibichi Credit Union. It cost us quite a bit, but at the end of the day, we think it was something good for the district, and we engage in that. Because of that, we become the third largest credit union on island, and we're serving people from Kalinago territory all the way to Bend, with a total staff of just about 35 people. Now, in terms of by way of services, we basically provide all the service that you can think of for a financial institution. And I listened to my comrade earlier, Comrade Brewster, talking about the number of services from Central. I was just looking at the interest rates, although we are not here to compete, but I just look at the interest rates at the Margaret Cooperative Credit Union. When we talk about interest on mortgage, on reducing balance, I think we are offering the lowest on the island. When we talk about interest on commercial loans, we also providing the lowest on island. We have our member retirement savings that a number of people can benefit from, and the interest on that is second to none in the region. And you can quote me on that, I can tell you. We also have attractive fixed deposit rates. We have a number of special loan packages from student loan, Christmas loan, bubble up, walk out with cash, just name it. You can come to the Margaret Cooperative Credit Union. And two, we have our online service, which make it very convenient for our members, especially our members who are overseas. They can pay their loans online, they can pay their bills online, they can transfer funds to their account or other people's account. So all this you can do online. Right now, I think we are basically updating our software, so we'll be able to provide even better service to our members. And of course, we're looking forward to getting our ATM up and running. We are in negotiation with a sister credit union so that we can provide that level of convenience to our members. The Margaret Cooperative Credit Union is also involved in a number of social activities. Of course, we take our social responsibility seriously. We have our from our community development fund, we would normally make a number of contributions to social groups and sports groups. Currently, we have about 10 students who are on full-time scholarship at the Northeast Comprehensive. We just recently provided some donation to all our village councils on the district. So that is something that we take very, very seriously. I must say though that I really want to commend the staff of the Maragot Cooperative Credit Union for their dedication and their commitment to the task, um, especially during this COVID-stricken environment. We have had situations where we were supposed to lock down because one or two people got infected with the COVID-19 virus. And I really want to commend the staff of the credit union for really holding the fort, and of course the management for putting the systems in place to deal with this COVID situation. And I must ask someone this, Mr. Belfield. I really want to use the liberty to encourage our members, not only Marriott members, but the members across Dominica to take COVID-19 seriously. This thing can have a drastic effect on our economy. So we want to encourage people to go out there, take the vaccines, follow the respective protocols. We have to social distance, let us social distance. If we have to wear our mask, let us use our mask. Let us sanitize regularly, those kind of things. Let us follow the protocols and let us go out there and get vaccinated. Because you never know, that might be one of the things that will save our credit union. The other area that I want to mention quickly is our whole outreach program. We believe that it is necessary to get out in the respective communities to sell the vision of the credit union. Too often we just sit back in our respective offices and expect the members to come to us. I think we have to go out, meet the members where they are, get to the communities, get on the block, talk to the members, sell the services of the credit union. I mean, one of the things we have to understand is that this credit union is our own. And that is what makes it different from a bank, because the members own the credit union. And so we have to go out there, we have to reach out to those members, we have to talk to them, let them know the services that we are offering, encourage them to honor their commitment, making them understand that when they honor their commitment, they lend a way for other people to benefit from the credit union. At the same time, we use the opportunity to gain new members for the credit union movement. So I want to also commend the members of the credit union. We have had some rough times in Marriott, Mr. Belfield, for the past couple of years, especially as a result of the acquisition. We were not able to do certain things that the members would enjoy at AGM, and you will understand what I'm talking about. But in recent times, I have seen the accounts, and I think we'll be able to offer something very decent to our members at the next AGM, because I think it's the first time for the last 7 or so years, we have done extremely well to the extent where we can declare dividend to our members. So I want to thank the league for the support, Mr. Belfield. I think the league has been a tremendous support for our credit union in terms of technical advice. I want to really thank the league for its support. I am not sure if I left out anything, but I know you have some heavy questions coming up, so I will prepare myself for the questions that you will have coming up.
Yeah.
All in all, I must say thank you very much for a wonderful opportunity to just basically in 5 minutes share something about the Marriott Cooperative Credit Union. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much, Honorable Riviere. Very insightful discussions, and I will share your commendations to the board regarding the support. But there are a couple of things that I mentioned, and you talk about the questions. These are some of the questions that we have pulled from some of the membership. They've asked these questions, so we've collated these questions that we'll be asking you. But you mentioned some very important points about the Marriott online services and important, how do we take our corporate social responsibility serious? You know, and credit unions are known as the village financial institutions, because that is why we have more than 25 branches and sub-branches spread across Dominica. No other financial institution has that many branches around the island. And this is because we're financially inclusive and we are where the people need us the most. So where the other institutions might not think it as financially viable to be in a hole in Wesley or in thing, we are there where the people need us. So you can find us in Vegas, in Grand Fond, in Casibus, in Calibishi, everywhere you can find our credit union spread across the island. So really happy. We're going to touch a little bit on a critical aspect, which is about shared services, because this is something that really unites us as a bond. When we can come together, pool our resources, just as we did with Emlaja, that we can use shared services through the ATM of NCCU, and both credit unions, Central and Marigot, can also benefit from that. So we don't need to, so we can, through harnessing our collective synergies, we can expand our reach. Thank you very much for that contribution. And now I welcome Mrs. Josephine Dublin. In the Italian world, they would have called her the matriarch of the credit union movement. But she's the president of NCCU, also the president of MLAJA, and also served on the league's board as a president as well. Mrs. Dublin comes with a wealth of experience in all things credit union. So it's really an extreme privilege for me to introduce you, Mrs. Dublin, and to ask you to share with us a few comments.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Belfield, for your kind words. I also would like to bid good evening to my fellow and other lady panelists, and of course to the listening and viewing public out there. And it is really a pleasure, and again, I welcome this opportunity because I believe that, particularly in the period that we have gone through, where we have been restricted to meet face to face, and I heard one of our panelists speak of the community outreaches. We have been limited by that. So this is very a much welcome opportunity to reach out to our members. As a note from history, and according to my own perspective, there are two revolutionary events that have been born by the NCCU. The first one is what occurred on the 1st of November 2010, the date on which what we now know as the NCCU commenced operations. For some time, credit unions on the island were in discussion on moving ahead with an amalgamation, one way of eliminating some of the fragmentation that existed and still exists, I dare say, within the movement. NCCU was born from the combined efforts and wills of 5 credit unions, namely Roseau, La Salette, St. Paul, Vickers, and St. David's, with a combined asset value of $336.5 million. As of 31st December 2021, the assets figure of the credit union was $695.7 million. We need to remember, though, that within that time, in January 2016 and June of 2017, that the credit union, two other credit unions, Castle Bruce and Southeast, joined our family. The second event occurred on the 21st of August 2019. Indeed, what I consider a red letter day for the society. On that historic day, NCCU launched its CU Online, revolutionizing the manner in which its members would transact their financial affairs. CU Online allows members to make transfers within their accounts and to the accounts of other members, monitor their account balances, and many others. The full potential of this venture, though, into the digital realm will only be truly realized when members will be able to make appointments and utilize the enhanced loan application module that is being developed. NCCU has for some time been digitizing its processes and the attendant improved services to its members. Our society introduced, well, it was not NCCU at the time, it was the Roseau Credit Union. So as early as 1991, one of our founding member institutions, the Roseau Credit Union, had introduced ATMs on the Dominican financial landscape. And this again was in an effort to reduce the long lines, particularly at Roseau and also throughout our operator branches. And of course, to speed up the time at which members deposit and withdraw cash from their accounts. To date, ATM services are provided in 3 locations at our Roseau branch, one at the St. Paul branch, and one at ACS's 7-Eleven on High Street. In keeping with the cooperative spirit, particularly the principle of cooperation among cooperatives, ATMs have been placed at the Marigot Credit Union in Marigot and at the Portsmouth and Goodwill branches of the Central Credit Union, employing shared services with our sister credit unions. Providing easy access to the services has always been a priority for our society. With the ATMs came the card system for easy deposit and withdrawal purposes. Of course, there was the money card initially, but as of September 2012, debit cards have been in use, and a large percentage of our members hold debit cards that are used for point of sale and online transactions. Currently, we are feverishly working on providing our members with contactless cards as a further enhancement, particularly in this COVID era. A $50 share entitles one to be a member. However, we encourage our members to show their commitment by purchasing additional shares. Apart from entitling members to more dividends, the level of shares held increases the member equity on the balance sheet, which has direct implications for the society's ability to pay out dividends. As a matter of law, our membership equity must be at least 10% of total assets for this to happen. Fellow cooperators, COVID-19 has really thrown a wrench into our interactions with our members. Our community and member outreaches have been somewhat curtailed, but we encourage members to access our ever-increasing presence on the social media and our website. This limitation to the physical engagement with our members was most pronounced at our last, I may consider, 2 annual general meetings. We had to have limited numbers at our 2019 AGM, but reporting on our 2020 operations had to be relegated to an online event hosted by the Cooperative Societies League, and this was held on the 12th of October 2021. We know how much you members look forward to the annual general meetings, and we earnestly hope that the AGM for 2021 will be less restricted. The pandemic has been very challenging as we diligently adhere to the health and other protocols, while at the same time attempting to ensure the provision of services to our members and still protecting our staff and volunteers. Of course, we had to the usual erection of glass barriers at our branches, the temperature screening and the sanitizing, having to sanitize the various offices, having to do it in a very professional way. We have had our premises, undergo much sanitization, and of course, this has cost us quite a bit. Sadly, though, we have been directly affected by the loss of life due to the pandemic. Our members are also part of the death statistics from our island. But it really hit home when a well-loved staff member of the NCCU succumbed. Despite this, it has been a period providing endless opportunities. Board and committee meetings have continued, though very often virtually. Loan approvals continued even during the lockdown period in 2020. Loan deferments and new loan products have been offered. Our staff and volunteers have ensured that we celebrated our national and Christmas seasons, even in a limited way. And as a society, we contributed to providing some relief to our frontline health workers at the Portsmouth facility. Apart from the loan deferments in response to the pandemic, we encourage members who are experiencing difficulty in honoring their commitments to approach us. Some persons have either lost their usual modes of employment or have had to take wage or salary cuts. So come speak to us because we would not like to be seriously impacted by delinquency. As we look forward, we recognize that providing an exquisite member experience, on-site or off-site, should be the hallmark of NCCU. This we hope to achieve with increased digitization that would provide members with speedy, yet efficient and satisfying service. We are in the process of completing the conceptualization of our La Salette branch, which we anticipate will be a template for all our branches and sub-offices. Even the physical layout of the plant would be conducive to realizing these efficiencies. Digitization will be another key to this member experience. We definitely would like the long lines to be a thing of the past. Our core business is the granting of loans. We endeavor to be efficient in this aspect of our operations, but also in monitoring the changing needs of our members and also their changing fortunes, so that our response will be prompt and beneficial to their livelihoods. We aspire to employ the efficiencies we expect to assist us to better manage the cost of providing services to our members, so that as an institution, we are sound financially and administratively. This we consider will lay the groundwork for greater collaboration in our movement nationally and regionally. I really would like to take this opportunity to express gratitude to our about 150 staff members who continue to further the goals of the society. Staff members, your service is not going unrecognized. We are grateful also to all volunteers, past and present, who give of their time and talent to provide leadership and support to management. Cooperatives are member-owned and governed. No member, no credit union. What has been reinforced following Hurricane Maria and during the pandemic is the steadfast loyalty of the membership of the National Cooperative Credit Union. Despite the many challenges, you members continue to make use of the services provided. So your credit union, the NCCU, continues to thrive. You provide the impetus for management to ceaselessly find ways to better serve you. Hats off to the membership, staff, and volunteers of the National Credit Union, and by extension, hats off to our apex body, the Cooperative Societies League, that has really been at our side, traveling the road, be it rocky, be it smooth, always being a companion.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dublin. And really, I sat there and I was wondering whether I should speak again because after those four presentations, it's really just to wrap up and say a vote of thanks. Really, really insightful discussion. I'm really happy about the presentations from all four of the panelists. And just to let our viewers know that this is just a representative sample. We also have the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union, we have the Grand Bay Cooperative Credit Union, and the St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union as well. So really and truly, a really representative sample here. But I mean, I'm looking at some of the presentations that you've made and some of the questions that our users have submitted online. So I'm just going to jump right into the questions that were asked, so that we can have the presentation going around. Thank you for the comments. We have all of the comments coming in from those joining us online. Thank you very much for your kind words, Mr. Albert, Dr. Dublin, Mr. Fritz, Mr. Telemac, and our other folks that have been showing their support for the movement. Thank you very much. A couple of the questions that have come into through when we ask the persons to submit their questions, and the first one I'm going to ask is to the league president, Mrs. Vidal Telemac. Everybody asked the question: what's the credit union difference? How are the credit union different from the other financial institution? You're muted.
Yes,
You're right. Yeah,
Mr.
we're good
Belvin.
now. Yes.
The credit union members must first understand that the credit unions are not for profit. The credit unions are owned by their members. It is our credit union, hence the reason why we purchase shares. It's a business that belongs to us. Unlike the banks, yes, have shareholders, but every depositor or person who does business with the banks are not shareholders or not stockholders. They don't have any stake in the bank, but the credit unions are our own. Further, we offer better rates, as you've heard tonight. We offer better rates on deposits and loans. And the credit unions, we work together with each other. Unlike the banks who compete with each other, in the credit union, there's no competition. We work together, and frequently the credit unions band together for fundraisers, grassroots efforts, awareness campaigns, and so on. So what I want the members of credit unions to understand that this is their credit union, their business. And the other day I was having a discussion with someone, and I told them, look at all the little fees that the banks charge you to deposit, to change a check, to do every single transaction. You pay a fee. You do not get that at the credit union. It's your thing. So you don't get to have all these different fees charged. So it is much better to do business with your credit union than to do business with the bank.
All right, and you mentioned something that one of the members asked. For example, and I'm going to show that question to Mrs. Dublin. Can we get a loan? Can the members, well, not the members, can John Public get a loan if they're not a member of the credit union?
The short answer would be no. However, we'll not turn anybody away.
Right.
I think if somebody approaches us and they would like a loan, and I think this is the very nature of credit unionism, that we would work with the person and encourage them to be a member. Because becoming a member is no rocket science. Membership is really very, very easy. And I think, if we go back into our own history in Dominica, it was really because of that ease of access to membership that the credit unions really took root in Dominica. Because it was difficult, let us say, even to have a bank account in those days. And here we had the credit union movement providing people with that membership. So certainly, as a non-member, you may not get a loan, but come on board, be a member, and you have many loans. Maybe too much, an embarrassment of choice, maybe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dublin. We have a few pool of questions, and one of the questions we wanted to touch on was the invest in my CCCUL. In fact, a member wrote that she wasn't informed about the shared services. We know that Central did extensive advertising, marketing, and education for the Share Drive program, and it is something that actually we would have hoped would have been done at a movement level.
Right.
But sometimes people have to just move ahead, and because of the urgency. And before I give you the way, Mr. Brewster, just to give a little enlightenment to the member, the Mr. Brewster mentioned earlier about the threshold, and you're going to hear a bit more about that. But one of the things that we always wanted to encourage members about is that you're the owner of the credit union. So if anybody needs to inject capital, is the owner of the credit union. And it is not, some people say they take money from my account. It's not they take money. It's the money your funds, a small percentage, sometimes 13 cents, 20 cents, $2, $3. They're converted into shares, which is investment that you will now be paid dividend on in the years to come. So Mr. Brewster, just enlighten us a little bit about what's in it for the membership on the shared My Invest CCCUL, just very succinctly, because we have quite a few questions to go.
Thank you, Mr. Belfield. In a nutshell, the Cooperative Societies Act says that the credit union must have 10% of the value of its equity in solid cash, liquid cash, um, that is secured somewhere. Um, because of our growth and development, the pace we have not been able to live up to that. So at the end of December 2020, 21st December 2020, we were at 4%. As a result of this, the board of directors and management came up with a plan and we went across the length and breadth of our membership um, areas. And we had public discussions and we engaged our members. And eventually, we had a special general meeting at which the membership adopted a resolution asking or dictating that we are going as a membership to meet the challenge face to face. And as a result of this, that resolution was adopted, and we have a structure, a system in place that an amount is transferred from your deposit account into an equity account. So it's not a withdrawal, it is a transfer from one account to another account. And that account at the end of the year, when the amount that is collected, will a special interest rate will be paid on it. So it's a transfer from one account to the other.
And
And
and the shares is in the membership's name, the member's
and
name.
it is in, yes, it is in your name. So there is an equity share in the name of Julian Brewster. So whatever amount is transferred from my deposit account into this account is mine. And you receive a special interest rate on it at the end of the period. And in the process, we do hope that within the 5 year span, we'll be able to meet that requirement in the law,
The threshold.
the threshold. So that's where we are. And just to be clear, it is not a withdrawal, it is a transfer from one account to this new equity account. And that money is an investment. As we said earlier, your membership in the credit union makes you an owner. It is your institution, and you are the one that have to shoulder the responsibility to invest in it so that it can be, because members may be not aware, but there is a serious development taking place in our financial landscape. You observe that our banks are dying out. And if we get into a situation where there's only one bank, that is not going to be good for us. So that is something that we have to keep on the front burner and monitor, because it is not good news for our financial landscape. So members, your credit union, you are the owner, and you have to be proud to continue to purchase shares, to continue to meet your commitment. We are, in comparison to other financial institutions, the credit union system and your particular credit union central is the best. And we encourage our members to continue your loyalty, and we extend that to the entire members of the movement. Remain loyal to your institution. This is where you belong. This is the one that have you at its heart. Support your credit union.
And you say Central is the best. I know that Mr. Greg Riviere, he's going to have a mouthful to say. But before he does,
Just go
let me
there.
give the word to Mrs. Telemac.
While Mr. Brewster was speaking, I remember the conversation I had with someone the other day, and the person said they withdrew money from my account, and they didn't tell me they were withdrawing money from my account, and they just as if they took my money. So I told the person, you do business with banks in Dominica, don't you? He said yes. I said, well, don't they withdraw money for your account every month to pay for services? He said yes. I said, but you don't get that money back, do you? He said no. I said, well, they're not withdrawing from your account. They just take a little bit and put it in an account in your name. So it's not money lost. It's right there waiting for you. And you get shares for it, which will make you get dividends. It's an investment. We buy stock, we buy cryptocurrency, and so it's
I was just about to
the
say
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, and before I get the word to Mr. Riviere, he's basking in it, the people don't understand with the dividend payout, because you also get interest on it as well as dividends, so you get two for one. Mr. Riviere, are you muted? Yeah, you're still muted.
Yeah, sorry about
Yes.
that. I mean, I was so intrigued by the discussion, especially when you asked me to respond to Mr. Brewster. But Mr. Brewster, know that we are not here to compete with each other.
Right.
We are here to complement one another.
Compliment.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
reason why I was very heartened by the presentation of Mrs. Dublin when she mentioned that the shared services that we all enjoy as credit unions, and she made mention of the ATM. Of course, we are in negotiation to ensure that our own at Marriott is up and running very soon, and I know that is top on the cards. And also, we've been investing in a number of other sister credit unions to offer that support. But one of the things that I want to mention quickly, Mr. Belfield, is the whole question of the members' experience
Right.
at the credit union. I think it begins, first of all, with our customer relations and service that we offer, recognizing that the credit union belongs to us. And when we come to the staff members of the credit union have to understand that we are the owners paying them, and we are the ones that they're supposed to provide the service to. So members must be treated with respect. Members must be treated with dignity, because if you are the owner, you must receive that level of respect from your employer. So customer relations, extremely important. Now, because of this whole COVID thing, it has driven us to a more online platform. So we need to be able to provide that convenience to our members, strengthening the online platform. Things like question and answer. Somebody doesn't have to come to the credit union to answer a simple question as it relates to loan. Somebody doesn't have to wait in a queue to find out what is the balance on their account. What we need to be trying to promote now is what I consider to be a queue-less experience, where we try to have less queues at the credit union, especially in this critical time. I remember when I studied in Australia, and I went to a bank in Australia, and I was wondering if there's any business happening there. I was the only person in the queue. Everybody else is on their device, whether it be their phone or their computer. Nobody comes to a bank to do simple transactions anymore. And we have to go out there and educate our members, because many of those services are available, but the members are not comfortable using them. So we have to go out there, do training, and we have to encourage them to utilize the online platform. And Sister Dublin also mentioned the question of even the layout of our offices can enrich the experience. I mean, do we have a queue for, let's say, the elderly? Should an elderly, how comfortable are we to see an elderly come to a credit union and have to stand up a length of time to get service? Can we facilitate that person? So those are some of the things that I think can enrich the experience for our members. And I can tell you, one good day or one bad day or one bad experience in a credit union is like, I try to put it the right way. the worst experience. Let me make sure I get it to go. You know, the calypso in my head I have to go and sing later tonight. I'm trying to get it. But your worst experience at a credit union may be just your best experience at a bank. Sister Dublin, did I say correct?
Anything you say, you can even put it in song.
Thank you very much. But that is something that we, Mr. Belfield, that we have to take seriously. We have to find ways to enrich and to make the members' experience easier and more convenient, so that people can see the benefit of our credit union as compared to, let's say, the banks. And remember, credit unions, we are not here to compete. We are here to complement each other.
Complement each other. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable. And we have Faustin Nixon. He asked a question that, yes, does the credit union members have online access to their account? And yes, Mr. Nixon, yes, you can pay bills, you can make transfer, deposit, perform transaction online. And in addition to that, you can also, once we're connected with L'Argent, you can also make intra-credit union transfers across from one credit union to the next, and so forth. So really exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff happening. So thank you, Mr. Nixon, for the question. One of the things we wanted to ask, I remember we had a discussion with the IMF, and they're asking us, okay, the IMF accounts for more than 51% of not the IMF, the credit union movement in Dominica accounts for more than 51% of in the financial sector. In fact, in terms of credit union membership population density, we're the highest in the world. Credit union is not what we do, it's who we are. So, Mr. Brewster, why are credit unions so popular in Dominica?
Credit unions are popular in Dominica because if we go back historically, when it was introduced, the ordinary man had no access to the existing financial institutions, and hence out of that experience came the credit union, people helping people. And all of our programs, our services are designed to enhance the standard of living of our members. So we are not driven by profit, we are driven by making our members comfortable, fulfilling their needs. So that's one of the fundamental difference between the credit union system and other systems. They are profit driven. So there's a cost for everything. And even right now, I mean, if we listen to follow social media platform, we would have heard the Prime Minister of Barbados on the question of the banks and their behavior, and even hinted the fact that maybe the time is right that the government might have to intervene, because I mean the various unnecessary charges, because you have our money that you use to make money and you're still charging us, and so on. So this is the fundamental difference, that we are more people oriented. We take our social responsibilities seriously. We provide assistance in terms of scholarships. And I think one of our shortcomings is we are not speaking enough about what we are doing. I'm not sure why we are doing it, but that's part of our problem. We are not promoting ourselves and the good work that we do. So that is what that keeps us and makes us different from the other financial institutions.
Very good. And before I get to Mr. Dublin, I wanted to talk a little bit about member experience. But you mentioned some really important things, because the credit union is like the best kept secret. And one of the questions that we always have to battle, people ask us, why are the credit unions becoming like banks? Now, that question, it's something that we have to answer. And I remember there was a gentleman, I was at the Cassava Man. We were signing up the Cassava Man for L'Argent. And so a gentleman came up and he said, hey, we said L'Argent credit union thing, but all you're becoming like banks. So I asked him, what is it that becoming like banks mean to you? And the question I've asked about membership experience, how long it takes to get a loan, and the processing time, and all of that. Which I actually took notes because these are the questions that we need to ask our leadership. So I'm going to ask the question to Mrs. Dublin: how can we enhance the member experience? How can we make it easier for them, even when you have this kind of enhanced compliance and due diligence and all of that, and people are saying this thing is taking too long, we're moving too slow. How can we enhance the member experience?
Quite a few years ago, I read an article in the Credit Union magazine at the Legal, and the title of the article was Putting on the Ritz for Our Members. In those days, the Ritz hotels were considered the, should I say, platinum standard for experience
The
among
vanguard.
the clientele. And just recently, we had a retreat for our staff, well, middle and top management and volunteers at the Kempinski Hotel. And we were all blown away at the type of treatment that we received from the time we entered the place till we left. And I had to challenge them as the president, and I said, we have to put on the Kempinski for our members. It means that when members come into our society, our offices, I mean, we are humans, COVID is around, we may not be feeling well, but we have to ensure that the members really get a good experience. And the experience is in, of course, the kind of physical service that we provide for them. But I think, as I said earlier on, we have to also think at the bigger picture. And this is why credit unions are going digital in a big way, because we recognize that the digital environment would make it much easier for members. So we don't need to have an elderly line. What we need is to have a program or whatever that would assist the elderly. Because
Mhm.
nowadays, elderlies are not non-digital, A
Oh, they're
lot of
more
what we
digital than us.
phones, and we can encourage them to use it. What do we do with our outreach purposes? What do we do on our websites? What do we inform our parents, if our members, even on programs like this, where we can actually show our non-digital persons, if you want to put it that way, how to access it. We can make a video, we can do that. So one thing, we have to ensure that the infrastructure is in place. We also have to look at the superstructure. We need to train our staff. And we have, as we have been saying there, to tell our members, we have to give them that confidence that they can
Right.
come to us, they can approach us at any time. Because it's not an 8 to 4 job anymore. It's no longer an 8 to 4 job. Because if you are in the digital realm, it is 24/7.
Absolutely. And Mr. Riviere, I want you to pick up on that because um, mo the majority of this whole passion incidents of COVID-19, and even just after Maria, and we're going to talk about the lessons learned from the Maria experience in a bit. But how do you see this whole transition to the digital environment, to the frictionless environment, to more touchless interface, and most of the folks moving online? How do you see that enhancing the member experience, particularly in the case of Marigot? You serve the for a large base of your customer of your membership is agriculture, and you're the only financial institution in the northeastern corridor. How important do you see it is for the people to connect with the credit union online? So you move from an 8 to 4 service to a 24/7.
Well, I think that is absolutely important, and that is the way we should go. And as you rightly say, especially in this COVID environment, that is a platform that we definitely have to strengthen. But my point is, we can put all the infrastructures in place as it relates to online services. But if our members are unable to utilize it, then it makes no sense. So we have to go beyond putting the infrastructures in place to providing training when we can use various medium to train our people. I mean, we may have a farmer who is capable of getting online, but there might be a number of people. And earlier on, Sister Dublin said maybe we don't need a line for the elderly, but we have to make arrangement for everybody. And there are some people that will not be able to quickly adjust to the online platform, and we have to keep that for them as well. But that is the way to go. As I mentioned, the less people we have gathering at the respective institution, I think is better. And we need to create that level of convenience for people. I mean, you have civil servants who, take for instance, I know a particular individual who would go to Marigot Credit Union from Roseau every month and just to draw a salary. I mean, think about it. If you have your online platform that you can take advantage, you don't have to leave your work to access your banking or your credit union information. So I think it is absolutely necessary that we strengthen that platform. But at the same time, we have to put in place the respective training and encourage our users as much as possible to get online. I think, yeah, of course, and as a credit union, because earlier you talk about this whole response to COVID. One of the things we have to do, we have to prepare ourselves for those kinds of eventuality. The credit union so put systems in place in the event that those shocks come about, that it would be easier for them to mitigate or get out of it as quickly as possible. So I think I will end there on that particular question.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Riviere. And we just have a few more minutes remaining, but the questions are coming in hard and fast. One of the questions we want to touch on is the lessons learned. We've gone from 2015, Tropical Storm Erica, 2017, we've gone from 230% of our GDP, Hurricane Maria, Cat 5, and now for 2 years, we've been blasted with COVID-19. But some people call it COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-2022. What are the lessons learned? And let's see if we can get everybody's opinion in 1 minute. What are the lessons learned for the credit union, for the organization that you represent? How do you see yourselves doing different, and what do you foresee for your respective institutions? So I will start with Mr. Brewster, then I'll go to Mrs. Dublin, then Mr. Riviere, and then Mrs. Telemat. Mr. Brewster, the floor is yours.
One of the lessons we have learned from these three experiences is the fact that we must be forward-looking, forward-planning. We must always have a strategic plan in place in the event of unforeseens. We will not, we became complacent before Maria, because so many years we've been hearing of storm approach and then they're moving away, so we let down our guards. It is saying, like the old scouts say, you must always be prepared. Our credit unions must always have this contingency plan in place as something like a rapid response in the event of, so that we ought not to be caught off guard anymore. So we must always be ready, be prepared, have a strategic and plan that will guide us in the event of. Let us bear this in mind, because look at the COVID, where it came from. It just arrived and it's here and it's going to be here for a while. And it is impacting, because as it is now, if one or two of your members at your credit union is affected, you have to close down. Members are in trouble. So we have to be continuously on the guard, look out, and continually monitoring and coming up with plans to address any unforeseens.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. D.
Okay. I wish to concur with all what Mr. Brewster said, but also I think we have to recognize that normalcy will have a different face.
Yeah.
In no way are we going to be or operate as in pre-pandemic. So it means we have been resilient, and these have just shown how strong we are as a movement. And a major lesson I think that we need to learn is that now we have to employ creative ways in which we can meet our members, inform them about certain things. And a program like this is just an ideal one. That's just one, but there are so many other ways. Remember that one of the principles of cooperativism is education. In former years, education took the form of telling people about the credit union, letting them be able to know the principles and the goals of credit unionism and how it began and what you can do and within your balance sheet. I think now we have to be able to, as I was saying earlier, train and educate our members. So education now will have to take a different form. We'll have to take a different medium. And even the older person can be shown, or let's say the non-digital person can be shown how to do something. Nothing like a videotape. And these days, those are things that we have available to us. Our outreaches will have to be very strategic and very focused. And the major lesson that I think, not as a credit union, but as a movement, not only in Dominica, in the
Mhm.
region, but also in the world, we need to cooperate. You see that principle we call cooperation among
Among
cooperatives.
cooperatives.
We have to explore that more. MLAJA is a major front for that. And there are other ways that we have to come together. We cannot be fighting with each other. If the banks are consolidating, we already have a consolidation, but we are pulling ourselves apart. And my
Right.
message today is it has shown us that we have to cooperate. This is the business that we are in. Educate our members, and we have to ensure that we are training our staff to respond to those things. We cannot train them to respond to every little thing, but if we show people how to be resilient, if we treat our staff members with courtesy, with respect, with dignity, they also will treat us properly by providing our members with the right service. So we really need to ensure that we have the right people there. We have to ensure that our compliance and our risk areas, that we take care of that, because we are in a financial realm, and it's true we are cooperative. And that's the difficulty with us as credit unions. We are co-ops, but at the same time, we are financial institutions. And therefore, we have to ensure that we employ the right people to do our work. We have to ensure that we educate our members. And I'm saying education now will have to take on a new face altogether. And things are not going to be normal as it was maybe in 2015.
Very, very important, and thank you for that contribution. Before we head off to Mr. Gregory Riviere, and we have a very impassioned plea from Mr. Desmond Dublin, who give it's pretty lengthy comment. I kind of just posted up there, but he's really encouraging us to look at the role, the significant role that the credit unions have played. And he says that the successes amidst the challenges should give us the strength to continue, which the governance structures and oversight. And he wants us to be vigilant. He wants us to continue to ensure that we maintain oversight over the institution, the democratic organizations of the credit union. And some people are really concerned that the credit union is huge and we have to protect it at all costs. And so I can very well understand the sentiments of Mr. Dublin. Go ahead, Honorable Riviere.
Yeah, thanks again, Mr. Belfield. And somebody would have, I mean, after I make my presentation, somebody would think that Mrs. Dublin and I shared notes, because I had, as a response to this question, I was just jotting down some of the same areas that she mentioned. And maybe that's one of the advantages of speaking last, so you can just endorse everything what the others say before you.
Well, Mrs.
I
Vidal will
just want
speak
to
after you.
reiterate,
So
I just want to reiterate, in this environment, I think there's a need to really strengthen our online platform. That is critical. We have to take that seriously. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have to provide the necessary training and necessary guidance that will go with it. The whole question of being the cooperator that we're supposed to be, that is very, very important. Too many times we find ourselves competing with each other. We have to cooperate more. Let us share more services. The more we are together, the happier and the greater we will be. And I share her sentiment as it relates to the MLAJA. Of course, we understand what is happening. We have to come together as a credit union movement. The other thing that is important too in this challenging time, I think we have to review and update our respective policies, whether it be our investment policy, our education policy, all the policies that we think we have to be able to bring them up to speed with the time that we are living, now. So we have to review those policies. I think it's critically important. And they say with every challenge comes some opportunities. So we have to position the credit union to take advantage of some of the opportunities that may come up as a result of this whole pandemic. Just to say, in the Marigot area, we are positioning ourselves to take advantage of a major project that is going to, be of tremendous economic benefit to the entire country. That is the international airport. So we are now tailoring some of our policies so that people can take advantage of some of the opportunities that may derive from this international airport development. And of course, as Sister Dublin said, it's important that we bring our staff up to speed so that they can function properly. We have to give them the emotional support. The whole question of shut down today, open tomorrow, shut down today, open tomorrow. We have to be able to provide them with the support necessary to go through this pandemic and take it from this. But all in all, I must say these are challenging times.
yeah.
These are challenging times for the credit union, and I think it's very, very, very important that we strengthen our bonds, come together so that we can weather the storm.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask you to be now extra succinct because we just have about 2 or 3 minutes left. What competitive threats do you see in 2022 other than COVID? Mrs. Vidal, the president of the league, spoke earlier about the new norm, and that was also endorsed by Mrs. Dublin. So it is the new normal. A lot of people are looking forward to the old normal coming back. That is gone. And a guy once said, as he addressed the forum, he said, listen, this is now the newer norm, because a lot of people will be looking for the reestablishment of the norm. And when the norm returns, they realize that it's no longer the norm that they once experienced. So tell us quickly, what are the challenges for your credit in 2022 that you foresee, and what is the credit union doing? And once we're done with that, I'll give the final word to Mrs. Vidal, because we want to look at the general scope of things, and then we will wrap up from there. So what competitive threats or issues do you see for 2022? January is already gone. We just have 11 months to go. Mr. Brewster, starting with you. You are muted, Mr. Brewster.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
Our credit unions now have a better appreciation of the impact of COVID.
Right.
And we at Central had to embark on responding to the requests and pleas of our members. Loss of job, loss of income. So we had to grant concessions. We had to to work with our members. And one of in Central case, the departure of Ross really hit us hard because we had significant investments associated with Ross. So we had to just work with our members and to try to assist them to go through that period of economic depression. And that's where we are. But we are committed to work with our members as much as we can to get them back on their feet. And when they're on their feet, all of us benefit. So it's a matter of credit unions, and in our case, Central, understanding the plight of our members and with an outstretched arm, working with them so that we can get out of this together, and hopefully we will see a new horizon. That is our anticipation. That is our hope.
Thank you very much, Mr. Riviere. I know you want to sing Calypso tonight, but I'm
Yeah,
only going to give you 30 seconds.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm done to sing tonight. I have to sing with Stardom tonight. So, but just to say thank you very much for this opportunity, Mr. Belfield. Again, I say that we have we have tremendous opportunities, especially from the Northeast. You know that we have some mega projects, as I mentioned earlier on, mega housing projects, the international airport, and we are basically in the heart of that piece of development. So that's a tremendous opportunity for our members. Of course, COVID will always be a threat, but we are basically trying to live with COVID, or understand that COVID is not going anywhere, and we have to put systems in place. We have to put protocols in place, even from a local standpoint, as to how we deal with the whole COVID situation. And as Mr. Brewster mentioned earlier, we also recognize the need to work with our members through these difficult times. A number of them lost their income, and a number of them lost their livelihood. We have to work with them, whether it means that we have to encourage them to come in, refinance their loan, or reschedule their loans, those kind of things. We really have to work with our members. And I think now is a time when the credit union have to see itself working for the interests of its members. So thank you very much. I need to say too quickly that you can always well, Mr. Belfield, I think what you should do, you should put up each of us contact information on the screen.
Yeah, well, we had a few persons inquiring because and sometimes we can understand the frustration about the members. We had a few persons commenting that they couldn't reach the credit unions. They're trying WhatsApp and they couldn't. I'm not sure which one. So what we did, we put up the league WhatsApp number, and once they send us a WhatsApp, we will direct to the appropriate credit union. So that is where we want to direct, because some of them, they may be members of NCCU or Marigot, so we want to be able to hear the conversation. We got comments about persons talking about the difficulty in sustaining loans. We're talking about how we should modernize the communication. So all of these things we want to comments we want to capture. So none of the issues that are raised tonight will be left undone. So that is where we want to go. Mrs. Dublin.
I would just like to add also that the consolidation of the commercial banks in Dominica is something that we have to be wary about. And there seems to be sometimes when new or institutions with new faces appear, that members tend to run to them because sometimes new products are advertised as a kind of welcoming gift. But you find that people move across because they see interest rates are lower and what have you. So I think we need to look at that and see how we can package our offerings to our members. Another thing I think is the cost, because digitization comes with a cost. and maybe smaller credit unions will not have the necessary resources. And I'm making an appeal now to those of us, the larger credit unions who are present today, that we consider that kind of thing so that, all our credit unions on board. I have always said that one of my fervent wishes is that any member, be it from Central or Marigot, NCCU, St. Mary's, Brandy, should have a similar experience, a similar exquisite, efficient experience. And I think the onus is on us, the larger credit unions, to come together so that we can kind of bring in our young, smaller credit unions and really put the face of one person. Delinquency is also going to be an issue because we are recognizing that maybe as the economy picks up, persons' fortunes may not pick up as quickly. And we may still have persons that we may have to reschedule loans and that kind of thing. So we need to look at that very carefully. And delinquency, remember, will have an effect on our prudential standards.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask the last question to the president of the league, Mrs. Lorna Vidal Telemac. From where you sit, the vantage point of the league, we've seen a lot of things happening. You've heard from the presidents. Looking 5 years out, how do you see the markets, opportunities, and threats for the movement, and how do you think we should respond from a league, the credit union as a movement? You heard about shared services, cooperation among cooperatives. How do you plan to respond?
Okay, well, Mr. Belfield, I'm looking at it from the perspective of what Mrs. Dublin previously mentioned of how our banking institutions are operating now. And based on, well, I would have to call it the rumors we have heard, soon we will have only two banking institutions. So really, as a credit union, we have to look at how we do business. But we will not allow others to use our assets to beat us. So we have to do business in a way that it is not insidious, and we don't use the insidious ways that other businesses may use to carry on business and be ripped off the plight of their members or their customers. So we have to change the way we do business, and we cannot say openly how we will not allow others to beat us with our own assets. But we will do something to ensure that we remain the poor man's, for want of a better word, the poor man's bank. We, in the credit union movement, we are like neighbors, people coming together, almost like a kudme sort of spirit within the credit union. And one of the things I think I did not mention before was the fact that we are regulated like financial institutions, not fully like a bank, but we are regulated. And sometimes members come and they find, oh, why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this? But we don't have a choice. We have to ask you these questions because we are regulated. So moving forward, I think we just have to change the way we do business. And as a league, we will lead the way for our umbrella, our other credit unions that form that are under our umbrella, to look at ways how we can better do business and to position ourselves with what's coming, because we can see where it's going. So we just have to position ourselves, and we cannot really divulge everything we want to do. But as you have seen before, we have the national credit solutions, the database, to make it easier to do business. People won't have to come into the bank to apply for loans. They can apply for loans online. Their credit reports are available, so nobody would have to give you a sheet of paper to go to every single financial institution to find out who you owe it. But there will be a database with all that information. So this is the way we are going to lead, in moving forward in the next 5 years.
And we need to have a cooperative bank.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes, thank you. My esteemed panelists, thank you very much for a very enlightening discussion. We're out of time, and thankful to Kyrie FM and Emo News that have stuck with us for the extra few minutes. I'll be sure to send you a check tomorrow. But thank you for a very enthralling presentation and discussion. The audio listeners, they kept up. They keep commenting, sending us questions on WhatsApp and commenting on the broadcast. Very exciting discussions. And radio listeners, for those who have joined us late in the broadcast, this was a program brought to you with the compliments of the Dominica Cooperative Societies League Limited. And what we wanted to do in this program of Your Credit Union You was, I think, what was achieved. We were able to interact with our credit union leaders. We had Mrs. Lorena Vidal Telemac from the League, and President of the League, Mr. Greg Riviere, President of Marigot Cooperative Credit Union, Mrs. Lorena Vidal Telemac, Mrs. Josephine Dublin, President of NCCO, Mr. Julian Brewster, President of the Central Cooperative Credit Union, and really exciting discussions this evening. We're going to have some other discussions to enlighten you a little bit about what's happening in the credit union. I know quite a few persons there, somebody commented talk, and it is not about talk. It's about getting the right things in the right places to serve the membership. And sometimes we have to understand the frustration of our members when the loans are taking too long to be approved, or they're unable to get through to the credit union. And so that is why we wanted to bring the leaders of the credit union to come here and hear your comments. So they have heard you, and I will ensure it is my duty to ensure that they respond appropriately, the credit unions, to your call and your cry. So thank you very much to my esteemed panelists. It has been a privilege to have you, and we look to have more sessions like this, to have this sort of discussions happening. So on behalf of everyone, I'm just gonna give you, and I'm gonna start with Mr. Riviere because I want him to be for 10 seconds only to give a final comment, 10 seconds, and then we're gonna close up. Mr. Riviere.
Well, thank you very much. 10 seconds counting down from now. I just want to let the listening public know that they can get in touch with the Marigot Cooperative Credit Union. You can get on our website, www.marigotcooperativecreditunion.com, or you can call us. We have some very qualified and efficient and courteous staff awaiting your call at 1767-445-7155 or 1767-445-7168. Thank you very much, Mr. Belfield. I think it was a very enlightening experience tonight. I think the first time I'm on a credit union call to discuss
Get accustomed to it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much, especially those who stayed up and listened to us throughout this discussion.
Thank you very much. Madam Dublin, we have people joining us all the way from Antigua and overseas, yeah?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think we really enjoyed it, and I can see from the comments. Just two things I would like to say in parting is that one of our one of the foresight for education of membership is that they are not just members. We have been educating that, but they are investors. And I think this is where the trouble starts, when we are looking at persons and the shares and having to have more shares and so on. So we need to give them some investor education. And the second thing is that we really need to do something about the extra cash we have that are not attracting any interest at all local banks. And as a movement, I think we can do much, much more than that. And I just wish that maybe coming out of this, we could maybe have a forum, be it a group, a meeting, where the leadership of the credit unions can meet, not necessarily on a call like this, but where we can come and exchange ideas, see what we are doing, and how we can cooperate with each other so that the movement can thrive.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brewster?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity presented to the various credit union leaders to speak. We need to have this on a more frequent basis to the members of Central, you can contact us by telephone number 448-2261. That is for the Goodwill branch, and 445-5208 for the Portsmouth branch. You can also contact us on our Facebook page. But I think moving forward, education and training is going to be very critical. And when we started, the focus was more on education, and there was a lapse, but we need to go back. Education and training, the introductions of all these various platforms. There's need for us to reach out to our members to get them to adopt and get acquainted with the age that we're in. It is going to be very critical, education and training. So thank you again for the opportunity, and good night, and journey mercies to all of us who have to travel.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Vidal, final words for you.
Yes, I want to thank everyone who tuned in to listen tonight. And without being repetitious, I want us to disabuse our mind of the fact that the credit union is just this institution over there, and that we understand that the credit union is our own. And that now with this panel discussion, that the members of the public who were listening could go into their credit unions, ask questions, send messages, so that you can be more informed. One thing I want to say, there was a member online who said she did not get notice of her shares, the money is being withdrawn for her account for shares. Well, I would have to apologize for that for all the credit unions, but I know at the Central Cooperative Credit Union, for sure, every member received a letter. There were public meetings, and also there was a general meeting. So you would have received some information if you're a member of Central Credit Union, explaining to you what the scheme was and how much money would have been withdrawn from your account. But we are sorry about that experience.
It's a diaspora person.
Oh, okay. So we're sorry about your experience, but if you wish, you call your credit union and get some information or clarification. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, all. And again, it's really exciting stuff. We're happy about the progress we've made, and it was, as usual, it's always exciting to speak with the people, to tell them about what's happening with the credit union movement. And we had a very distinguished panel. I'm eternally grateful for their support and for their taking up almost 2 hours of their time to come and sit and educate us on all things credit union. You can join us. We're live every Tuesday on Q95 and also on DBS Radio at 11 a.m. Where we host the Cooperative Voice, and we also speak about a couple of things that are happening in the movement. So you can join us there. If you have any comments or questions that you want to forward to us, you want us to check out, you want us to plead your case, you can send us a WhatsApp message on the 612-3282. You can send us a WhatsApp message, and we will forward it to the appropriate credit union concerned. If you're not reaching them, you'll definitely reach us. Send us a WhatsApp message, and we'll get you to the appropriate persons. Until then, everyone, joining mercies. Those that going to Calypso online, enjoy it online. Those that going to sing at Calypso, best of luck. And so thank you very much all for a lively broadcast. And until then, take care, Dominica World. Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you're joining from us. All the best, and take care of yourself.
Okay.
All right.
L'argent, send me money. Send me money. Receive money. Receive money. Send me money. No more hassle. M l'argent, send me money. Send me money. Receive money. Receive money. M l'argent, it's safe and secure. M l'argent. You want to send your money to friends and family. No more standing in line. M l'argent. It's a new digital financial service brought to you by the Dominica Credit Union Movement. Introduces a new wallet solution, M l'argent. Top up friends, pay bills, make shopping easy, extra secure. Sign up is absolutely free. M l'argent. You want to send your money to friends and family. No more standing in line. No more M l'argent. Download the M l'argent app today. See your credit union for more details. M l'argent, your mobile payment solution. M l'argent.
everybody. My name is Michelin Daru, and you are Tout Connexion opposite Starring and Sons on 16 Hillsborough Street in Roseau. What we do at Tout Connexion, we sell French, American, and local products at Tout Connexion. We are specialized in our fruit bowls, our fruit platters, our gift baskets, our fruit baskets. Time is money, so that's why we are connecting with M Leisure, so we get everything to you quickly as possible.